Hi everybody, welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. So today I wanted to talk about some people that have been really important in my life, some mentors. I'm going to be posting their pictures out on my Instagram over the next couple of months. A lot of you ask me, where did you learn all your information from? And what are some great books that I can read and how can I learn more? So I wanted to share with you over the next couple of months some people that have been really inspirational in my life in many walks. Some of them have been chiropractors, some of them have been facial plastic surgeons, some of them dermatologists, some of them in the wellness, spiritual people. I've studied with crystals, I've done my Reiki 1 and 2, and I've worked with bush essences and just incredible things over the years. And I wanted to share some of these people with you over the next couple of months. So I will be posting their picture on my Instagram. But something that is really important that I learned this week that I couldn't believe actually, because it's a procedure that I recommend all the time, is when people come in and they have lots of sun damage or freckles and they have that ruddiness, that ruddy brown, especially down here on this part of the neck, where they've had a lot of sun, but it's that red brown, broken blood vessels, hypo and hyperpigmentation. I was referring them to have a photofacial often to give their skin a kickstart when they've been using something like the flavonoids and they've really tried, AHAs and worked with other things, but just to give their skin that extra boost. I would refer them to go and have a photofacial, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 at the max, because even with photofacials, it can burn your skin too much. So a photofacial is something that works on pigment. It is drawn to where there is the pigment in the skin, the melanocytes, and it is something that it's not like a regular laser, like a Fraxel or any of these other types of lasers, but it is something that's drawn to the pigment. And what I learned this week, which was really interesting, is that particular procedure is something that can stimulate skin cancer. So if you have basal cell carcinomas or the squamous cells, then it's really important that you do not have that procedure. And what I learned is that, and what I recommend for you is that if someone is going to have an IPL, a photofacial, it's known as both IPL and photofacial. If someone's going to have that, make sure that a doctor, a dermatologist, or their doctor is going to be looking at their skin first before they go over to the nurse who's going to then be doing the IPL photofacial. It is new information. If you look at the FDA laws in online, it says that it does not affect cancer. But more recent studies I have heard is that that's not true. So I'm sure things will be changing on the FDA website soon too, but new information is that it does speed up skin cancer. So if someone does have those little basal cells, and I've shown that in some of my previous videos where they have the slight pinkish and the skin might get a little bit scaly and it often will bleed and it stays there, until it gets zapped by your derm. So these things are really, really important that you send your client to your dermatologist to have these areas treated. So sometimes when I'm doing my skin analysis and if I see something, I like to point it out to my client just to say, next time you go to see your dermatologist, please have them look at this. And I like to show them where those areas are so that they can have their derm check those areas. But really good information, right? That if someone is going on to have a photofacial, make sure there is no sign of any skin cancer on the skin, no basal cells, nothing like that, because it can speed it up. And as I said, this was new information for me, so I wanted to share that with you. Do make sure that you have a doctor look at your skin before going in to the nurse to then have the photofacial done. Really, really important. And another treatment that I also have known about over the years that I found to be risky is, and again, I say risky because it all does depend on the person doing it. So your technician, whether they're a doctor, a nurse. But the other treatment is thermage. Thermage is something that does melt fat, and it is supposed to be a tightening mechanism, a laser. But what I had found with some clients that had it done, and it was early on, it was a long time ago when thermage first came out, there was dimpling. So we saw dimpling in their skin because you don't want to melt fat in the face. So it's the same with cool sculpting. Cool sculpting everyone's doing to get rid of fat. They do it on the body, and I know things are really sort of, they're more advanced now, which is great. But cool sculpting also is something that it causes a lot of nerve damage. So I still have a client today who had cool sculpting done almost 3 years ago, and she had it done in the tops of her arms to reduce some of the fat on her arms. And she still has a lot of pain in her arms, even almost 3 years later. So cool sculpting is something you've got to be careful. Make sure that when you're having these types of treatments done, that you're going to somebody who's really reputable, who's either, board certified, that has a good reputation, that, you need to look into this. So cool sculpting, really important. You go to a place where they know what they're doing. That's very, very important because there is a lot of people that have nerve damage from cool sculpting now. And also the thermage. Thermage is something you want to, again, make sure you're going to someone who's really good, because I'm sure, when done correctly, it's perfect, it's great, and it works. But when it is done by someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, or they're going too strong, too deep, dimpling and things can occur. You don't want to lose fat in the face. You don't want to remove it, because as you get older, you lose it anyway. So just something to think about for you guys, and I hope this has been a informative video for you today, and I hope you're having a good day. So I'll be back to see you all again next week. Bye-bye.